everyone, it's Chris back here in the shop. I am going to try to do a Vlogmas, try to do a vlog a day until Christmas. I'm already a couple of days late, but better late than never, right? I am a reseller here, part-time, and I'm going to start out talking about what's going on today. Today is very nerve-wracking for me. I have been anxious about this for a week. I had my biggest selling item ever sell for me last week, which is awesome. But it's being delivered today, and I'm just freaking out that something happened along the way. There's something that's going to go wrong. I've already filmed a video about this, but as I do every now and then, I totally messed up and recorded the whole video in slow motion, which means all that footage is useless. But anyway, last Wednesday, I sold my Super Nintendo. And for those of you that don't know, I bought at a garage sale over the summer. This gentleman was selling a brand new, never used, in the box, of course, Super Nintendo from probably I don't know when it was. I don't know exactly when it was from, but, whenever Super Nintendos came out. I paid up for it. I paid $750, but I had seen some comps that were much higher than that, and I listed it for $3,000 a couple of months ago, and eventually took an offer for $2,550 plus shipping. Shipped it out last week. It is going to Oklahoma. I am in the Portland, Oregon area. It was interesting when I went to ship it. I ran into a couple of things that I've never run into before from the eBay shipping. I ship almost everything via the eBay shipping platform, just through my phone, through the app. But when I went to ship this, I ran into a couple of issues. So I wanted it to get there quickly, but I wanted it to get there, as inexpensively from my end as possible. But of course, I also wanted to add insurance. So all of these things factored in. I originally looked at USPS because I send almost all of my items, or at least probably 75-80% of my items, USPS. And priority mail shipping was $144, which was crazy. Ground Advantage was, I think, $90 some. I only charged, I think, $84 for shipping. So I didn't want to pay more than that. Plus, I knew I was going to have to pay insurance on top of everything. So I then looked into FedEx. FedEx is usually my backup if the post office is too expensive. And FedEx is going to be pretty cheap. It was only going to be, I don't know, I think $40 some to ship it. But when I went to buy insurance on it, it was a maximum amount of $1,000. The maximum amount that they would insure up to was $1,000. Well, my item was $2,550. I didn't want to leave that $1,550 unprotected. So I thought, okay, well, let's go to UPS then. Went to UPS, and the exact same thing. The limit was $1,000. I was freaking out because if I could go, like I said, to the post office. I was going to have to pay probably $40 more than I had charged for shipping, which isn't the end of the world. I'm not freaking out in that perspective, but I thought there's got to be a better way. So I went to Pirate Ship and looked at their options. Now, Pirate Ship, you only can ship post office or UPS. No FedEx is available through Pirate Ship. But long story long, I found they offered insurance up to $2,550 through some sort of supplemental third-party insurance company. So grand total, all in, it was, I think, $68 via UPS, and that included signature confirmation, that included the insurance, and, of course, the shipping. It was a big item. It was a big box, The Super Nintendo is a big box on itself, and then I wanted to really make sure it was protected as much as I could. I actually shipped it in an old, big computer monitor box. But later today, it gets delivered sometime between 2:30 and 4:30. Signature required upon delivery. I just hope it shows up in the right condition, but it's nerve-wracking. It's, of course, by far the highest dollar item that I've sold. I think the previous high was like $820. So I've had the money sitting in my eBay balance for 5 days, 6 days, I think. I haven't touched it. I haven't transferred any of it. I'm going to keep it in there just in case for some reason I need to give the buyer a refund. Anyway, it's just nerve-wracking. So I think everything's going to be fine, but I'm not going to. I don't know. I might even not. I might leave it in there for the full 30 days, for the full 30-day return window that the buyer has. So we'll see. Hopefully I'll get a message that he received it and everything is good from there. But obviously I'm still freaking out a bit. Sales, even factoring that out, taking that out of the picture, were amazing for me in the month of November. So for the month, I sold $9,450.59, which of course, well, is a record month for me by far. My previous record was $6,661. So even taking out that $2,700, $2,600 from there, I'm still at $6,800, I think. Math? I don't know. Which would still be a record month for me, so that's really exciting. Sales are still going well in December. Let's go ahead and pull some orders. It's funny, I've sold 2 of these. eBay just doesn't make any sense to me. Either that or these are, I don't know. I can't explain it, but I've had these listed since last year. Might even be for 2 years. And I hadn't sold any of them. They're these Dandy, I think it's Dandy. Yeah, singing elf Christmas thing. Problem is when I bought them from an estate sale. They were in the basement. I don't know if there was a flood in the basement or if it was just a musty, old, gross, nasty basement. But these have a mildew odor to them, which obviously I disclosed. And I priced them a little bit lower because of it. But like I said, hadn't sold any of them. And all of a sudden, yesterday I sold one, and then today I sold one. So, like I said, eBay it's just bizarre to me how, like I said, I've had them listed for so long, never sold any, and then two days in a row. Supposedly I have a dog training collar that's sold. I'm going to have to put the camera down because I can't find it right now. I found it. I was looking at the wrong shelf. Bought this for $10 at a garage sale. Pet Safe Elite Big Dog Remote Trainer. Had never been used before. Sold that for $49.99 plus shipping. Not really going to be able to pull this because it is so large, but I'll show it to you. I sold my complete Nancy Drew Mysteries book collection. This right here, there's 56 books in the series, and originally I paid $100, and there were 53 volumes in there. I knew it was almost complete, so I counted everything out. There were, figured out which 3 they were. I looked on eBay. The first 2 were pretty easy to find. I think they were a total of approximately $20 total between the 2 of them. Then the last one I needed was volume 56, the very last one, which for whatever reason is relatively rare, hard to come by. There's a lot of newer versions of it available, but not this older matte version. So when I went to find it, there were none available on eBay, so I had to put in a save search where I was notified whenever one new came to be listed. Most of the new ones that were listed were the newer version, and eventually I found one that came up that was the old version. I had to spend like $35, I think, for that one. So all in, I'm at $155. That sold for $374.99 plus shipping for the full 56 volume set. So that was awesome. Ironically, I was at an antique mall this past weekend before last, and this antique dealer had pretty much every copy available for sale, including volume 56, the old version. They were only selling it for $6, so I bought that and sold that one for $30 plus shipping yesterday, or shipped that one out already. So I've actually sold 2 copies of that here in the last few days. Just kind of funny. But if you ever come across, I guess let me show it to you so you know what I'm talking about. So this is what it looks like. It's called a 13th Pearl, but it's got this matte finish to it. The newer versions are shiny and are not nearly as valuable. This one has a lot of value and it sells really fast. So if you can find it, pick that one up for sure. I just listed this yesterday and it sold same day. I know some of you might not have bought this, but I bought this Wilson A550 youth baseball glove for $12.99 at my thrift store. And, it's in pristine condition here, you can see. Sorry, I had an alarm on my phone go off. I have hip flexor tendonitis, and I have to do 3 sets of exercises every day. And I keep forgetting, so I set an alarm to actually remember. And I just did it. And my leg hurts, but oh well. Such is the price of being old and trying to do anything athletically. Speaking of which, like I said, I bought this $12.99. It sold within a few hours for $36.99 plus shipping. Excuse me, $34.99 plus shipping. But like I said, some of you might not have bought that, but it sold so quickly for pretty good dollar amount. And I knew it would sell pretty quickly, so I figured why not turn it around quickly like that. Even though I would have definitely liked to have paid less. This sold, paid I think $2 for this, $10 free shipping. It's kind of, I don't think it's full all the way, which I know you're technically not supposed to sell it that way. But I mentioned it was almost full. It's this company called Sol de Janeiro Brazilian Crush. $10 free shipping. Getting a lot of offers lately on items that have been listed for a long time. So I'm definitely taking those. These are some Olakai boots. They are WAO, W-A-O model. Kind of small. Only paid $7 for these at my thrift store. And they sold $50 free shipping. So really nice Olakai WAO, W-A-O boots. 2 more sales, and then I'll talk about yet again why I hate selling women's clothing. This one also was a little bit of a longer sale. Those Olakai boots had been listed for, I think, 168 days is, I think, what it was. I saw on there, so very glad to sell those. And then this had been listed for about 100 days. This is a cool bronze hook hanger thing, made by a company called Menagerie Works. I don't think they're in business anymore. Maybe they are. Local Portland company from, I think, the 90s. This sold for $25 plus shipping, paid, I think, $4 or so at a garage sale over the summer for that. And then this item I had listed for around the same time period, probably 3-ish months or so. Says it's 36B right there. Might be a little bit annoying to ship. It's a little on the large side, but I think I have a box for it. This is an old vintage Hasbro Thinktron. In the box, obviously. Box is pretty, it's okay condition, at best. It's kind of beat up, but inside, everything works on it. This is super cool. It's like it's like a toy computer. You know how computers, or maybe you've heard of them, where they used to read them by cards, like literal like paper cards, and that would somehow make the computer work? I still don't understand how it is, but this actually does that as well. So it's got these cards right here that has a question on it, like a trivia question, and it'll give you a couple of choices, and then you spin this, which puts the card through here, and then it will tell you via lights what the answer is, and then you can keep track of the scores right there. Really cool stuff for a kid's toy. I think it's from the 50s. Anyway, picked that up. I think I might have paid $10 for it. I'm not exactly sure. But like I said, it had been listed for a while, and that sold for $30 plus shipping. Got a return that was delivered today. This was on the Johnston's of Murphy cashmere sweater that I sold for $62 last week. Buyer got it, said, oh, it was dirtier than I said it was. So they shipped it back, which, I don't know, it may have been, whatever. It is what it is. I'm going to get it. That's the thing with cashmere, is it's dry clean only, and I'm not that type of seller. I'm not going to go get it dry cleaned. Which means I should be really, really, really extra careful when I buy stuff that is dry clean only, which I am moving forward. Haven't been lately, but anyway. Did I say that I don't like selling women's clothing? I don't. We'll end the video with this. This is something I've been working on for quite some time. It is this big pile of pins that I bought. They're all in this box here. I paid $10 for the whole thing. Already sold, I think, 2 or 3 items in there for $45, I think. I have several other things listed. A lot of this stuff, I think I'm just going to lot absolutely everything together, list it for like $15. I don't know. It's just a lot of stuff that isn't that neat. Isn't that cool? These are kind of cool. So it's almost all Machinist Union stuff. These are apparently back in the, I don't know, maybe early 80s. There was a Machinist Union racing team in the IndyCar series. Kevin Cogan was one of their drivers, or maybe the driver. I don't know. Here's a bunch of these pins. That might be interesting to a racing enthusiast, but a lot of it is just stuff that is not that good. But I picked out most of the good stuff, and like I said, sold it for a little bit of a profit. But now I just got this stuff laid out here. It's been laid out for like 5 days, and obviously it's annoying and dirty and messy, and I need to finish getting that stuff listed. I also have these comics that have been here for about that same time period that I need to get listed. I have this this box of glass and porcelain type stuff that I just recently discovered. I've been going through my death pile a lot lately. Sourcing, of course, is pretty slow this time of year in the Northwest, so I've been working on my death pile here, and that's where I found this. A lot of the issue with this, there's some uranium glass in there. That's got some decent possibilities, but I bought this ashtray lot a while back. I think I sold, there were, I don't know, 3 or 4 decent ashtrays in there, and then there were a bunch of not so decent, so I don't know how that's going to turn out. But where I'm going with this is a lot of my death pile. Part of the reason why it's in there is it's just not great selling stuff, and I don't want to list a bunch of things that are not going to sell quickly. My sell-through rate over the last 90 days or so is bumping up to over 75%. I've actually sold, in the last 90 days, I've sold 457 items. My whole store only has 549 listings, so I guess that's actually closer, I think, to 85%. So it's awesome. It's going great, but I don't want to flood it, like I said, with a bunch of junk, which is why I'm not just listing all of these pins, individually. It wouldn't take that long to list, this International Guiding Eyes 1992 pin. It's like a seeing eye dog. I don't know if it's a union or what, but, I could list that in 2 minutes, along with 30,000 other things. But if I list all of those things, like I said, it's going to fill up my store, which is not very big, only 549 active items. If I add another 50 items of things that don't sell, I think that's going to really hurt the algorithm. This is every now and then there's some really cool things in there, but maybe the subject matter isn't fantastic. Highly doubt this will focus, but let's give it a shot. This is like a vintage eagle pin, and on the bottom it says Mondale, for Walter Mondale, who had a historically bad campaign in 1984 against Ronald Reagan, where he only won one state, which was his home state of Minnesota. So, like I said, subject matter isn't great, but the pin itself is really cool. It's probably not going to focus. So that'll be neat to list. I mean, there's some interesting things in here, but most of it is union related. I got like 30 of these, again, racing, machinists racing, probably can't see that, but it's Oregon specific. There's a race car in the corner, the machinists union logo, got like 25 of those. Who's gonna buy that stuff? I don't know. But I gotta get this cleaned up. Hopefully by tomorrow, the next video I show, this will be all cleaned up. Alright, that's gonna do it for today's video. Like it if you did, subscribe to my channel. Good luck with your ventures. Thank you to the PDX Posse member, Harley Gal. We'll catch you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.